RH, quer saber como voar no trabalho? É só usar a Flash. Com a Flash, você concentra toda a gestão de pessoas em um único lugar. Faça a admissão dos colaboradores e solicite mais de 8 categorias de benefícios. Ah, e você ainda pode fazer todo o controle de ponto. Conheça o novo onboarding integrado da Flash em flashapp.com.br.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Don't Blame Me. I'm not wearing pants. Are you wearing pants?
I'm wearing literally shorts that I've had since like 2002 when I was a cheerleader. Yes, they're my bloomers that go under my flyaway skirt that I had.
Love it. so retro. So
yes,
chic.
they're very retro. Also,
I'm literally
quality-wise. I mean,
impressive. I was going through my dresser yesterday, and I realized that I have a shirt that it's a shirt from it's a crew shirt from the 4th Harry Potter movie because I had a family friend who has been worked on the visual effects team, and like for my birthday they gave me the shirt and it says 2005, and I was like, what? This shirt is 15 years old, right?
Yeah,
15 years. Like I don't. It's so wild to think now that like I'm at the age where I can have clothes that are like the age of people, like, you know, giving hand jobs. Like, that's insane to me. Like, that's insane.
That's insane to me that's where your mind went.
Yeah, 15. That's not, but like, you know, like,
Yeah.
I wasn't giving hand jobs at 15, 16, but not 15. But like, what? It's just so wild to me that like now I have clothes that are that old. Like when you like are younger and some like an adult is like, oh, I've had this for years. I've had this since I was your age. And now I'm like, oh my God, I have this. And the thing that is a t-shirt with a Hungarian horntail on it.
I mean, but that's very you.
It is. And it's very soft. I love it. It's a good time. Well, this is Don't Blame Me, guys. It's an advice podcast. If you want to call in for an upcoming episode, our phone number is 310-694-0976. And international listeners, you can send us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. Should we give some advice?
Let's give some advice. I'm so awake.
Woo, me too. If you guys didn't know, we now changed our recording time from like 4 o'clock to 9 a.m. Good morning.
It's really more like 9:30 by the time we get on.
Yeah, but like we say 9. But if we said 9:30, we would start at 10.
Yeah.
So
this is correct.
We're being self-aware.
Hi, Megan. So I'm calling in because my boyfriend is starting to get fat. We've been dating for a few years, and when I first met him, he was very in shape. He worked out every day, and that's the kind of body type that I like, is very muscular, and he knows that. And we've been dating a few years, and this last year he's kind of just let his body go. He has I guess you could say, a dad bod right now, which is totally fine for some people, but that's just not what I'm into. So just kind of starting to grow a belly, and it's just not attractive to me. It kind of turns me off. And I don't really know what to do. I don't know what to tell him without sounding like an ass. I've tried to motivate him to work out. We've even gone as far as getting a gym membership with him, and going with him for about 6 months, but he would never go to the gym without me, and he never really works out or runs without me. So he's just very unmotivated to work out or do physical activity besides what he does at his job. So I don't really know how to tell him that his body is starting to be unattractive to me. I don't, we're young, and this may sound really vain, but I thought, he would want to take care of his body and look the best he could, and, because we're both in our 20s, but now I'm just running on. But I just don't know what to do without sounding like an ass. I just wish that he would, take care of his body more and get in shape. So, yeah, that's all. Just how I think.
No, break up with him because you are an ass.
Yeah.
Break up with him because you're an ass.
You are very much an ass.
Like, you're a fucking ass, and you should not tell him, and you should break up with him, and then you should date somebody who has the exact same expectations of you. There you go.
Yeah.
Like, this is so fucked. And I think we should have like a trigger warning in the comments for this, because like we get the opposite of this question all the time of like female listeners who will like, or even on our Facebook group, of saying like, I have gained some weight and I'm really afraid that my partner is no longer attracted to me. And this, I don't want anyone to hear this and think like, oh, that validates that like negative self-talk in my head, because it doesn't. Like,
at all.
I'll straight up just say, this girl's an ass. This girl's an ass. And this is not how everybody thinks, because the most important thing is if your partner is happy. If your partner is happy, who gives, like, what they look like, your partner's responsibility is not to be attractive to you. You're attracted to your partner. That's why you're with your partner. But your partner's responsibility is not to work so hard to make sure and go above and beyond to make sure that you remain attracted to them, and regardless of what they fucking feel and think about themselves.
It's so messed up. And also, you never mentioned anything about his personality, what you love about him. So it seems like that you're very shallow, and all you care about is how he looks physically. You said you got with him because he was muscular, and you thought that you guys would keep up with like your body type throughout your relationship. Most people in relationships do not. Like, that's when you get the most comfortable, because you know that the person that you're with is with you because they love who you are and not what you look like. Also, like, what else? You also said that like you got a gym membership and he would only go if you went. Well, if you get a gym membership together, he probably thinks that this is an activity that you want to do together, not because you're trying to change what he looks like. It's just mean and rude and hateful.
And it's not about what he wants. You're not thinking about him at all. You're literally thinking of him as his role. Only sole role is to be attractive to you. And how can he be the most attractive to me? And how can I do that without sounding like an ass, even though it is an ass feeling? And it is. And the other thing I will say is that there's a huge issue with body, like just body shit in the media in general for women and also for men. This like hyper masculine, all of this kind of shit. And like men get eating disorders too. Women get them, but like men also get them. And that's something that's not really talked about a lot. But more than that, I think another layer to all of that. And the reason why I think it slides by is because doctors are the most fucking guilty of this, is ableism when it comes to health. And it comes to be like, oh, I'm worried about your health. Oh, I'm worried about your health. Well, eating disorders kill more people than obesity does. So There you go. And also it's, well, I really, really care about your health. I really just want you to be healthy. Health is a privilege. It's not a right. Like that is something that is so fantastic and great if you have it. But the idea that like you can only lead a peak best personal life if you are healthy is erasing everyone who is born not considered traditionally or like medically healthy, or like as they go through their lives something happens or they have a chronic illness or any of that other shit that it's like, well, no, I'm just worried about your health. How about mental health? How about that? And like, if for you personally staying in shape, really like working out releases endorphins for you and it makes you really happy, then that's great. But you can't project that feeling onto somebody else. And if it's like, oh, I'm really worried about someone, oh, they're overweight and I'm worried about them with like heart disease and all of that kind of shit. It's just like, let people fucking live and let people be fucking happy and make the choices that they want to make, because in your mind, they have to do a certain thing to feel great and feel good, because that's what makes you feel great and makes you feel good. Right. But it's not about you. It's literally not fucking about you at all. And I think that the only thing, if you want to claim like, oh, I'm worried about like so-and-so's health, the only thing that you can say that with is, I just want you to get a regular checkup every year. That's the only time you can like, not like, oh, I want you to lose weight for your health. I want you to do this for your health. I want you to get a regular checkup.
Right.
I want you to be in tune with your body. I don't want you to ignore if you're in pain. I want you to advocate for yourself, and I will be there as a partner to help you advocate for yourself if you need something in the medical field or you need any of like X, Y, and Z and all of that shit. But I think people get away, or I know people get away with that, like, oh, be healthy. This health, because doctors fucking do it. And the fucking reason that doctors do it is because they don't test medications on people who are considered overweight. They don't do any of that shit. So their whole fear of being like, well, no, don't be overweight. It's going to cause all this other stuff. It's like, actually, it's because we didn't pay to have the trials be done on anybody who weighs more than 140 pounds. So can you like not do that, because like we don't know what's going to happen, and also like our surgeons aren't prepared to like operate on you at this size because like we just haven't thought about it, and like anesthesia, so sorry, we don't know. Like, it's purely, it's just discriminatory. It's not like, oh, they're so worried about our health. It's like, oh no, America and the world is so fat phobic that we don't even think, or nobody's even doing fucking tests and running those people on who is like the traditional or like majority American size, because they are so fat phobic. They would just be like, sorry, can't help you here.
Also, she said that he had a dad bod, and that's not even, and she called him fat, and that's not even overweight.
Nope.
All you're concerned about is what he looks like physically.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just wrong.
And just also, you're
tagging
not even
on what you said. You broke it down so great, but yeah.
But she's also, you're not even bringing yourself into it. It's not like, hey, we used to both run cross country together and I loved running with him and now he's not into it anymore. And it like makes me sad because it's something we both enjoyed. Like, I think if you're going to be an ass, like at least fucking be an ass about yourself. Like bring you into it too. Like say something along the lines of, fucking commit. Say, I've kept my body in shape. Like, I'm working so hard to, like, stay, like, exactly the size that, like, he wants me at. And I'm doing all of this stuff. Like, why isn't he doing it for me? Like, you're not even doing that. You're just, like, going after him. And again, I really want to make sure that people listening to this don't think that this is a thing. And this is, like, an overall sort of, like, response in a partnership of, like, gaining / or losing weight or whatever. I mean, I've been in long-term relationships where, like, I'm always the smallest version of myself when I'm not in a relationship.
Right.
And there's, like, it doesn't matter. And it just pisses me off because then the reflection of it, too, obviously we're talking about this in, like, she's female and talking about it in her boyfriend. But also it makes me, like, incredibly upset because people who give birth and people who are going to carry children, those people, you're going to gain some fucking weight. And like that whole toxic, like, oh, bounce back, all of that kind of stuff is just so incredibly fucked up, and this is not the standard of this is the fuck this. Like fuck this, you're a fucking ass. And I don't want anyone else to think that this is what your partner thinks, because there is no way this is the only issue in their relationship. And if he fucking called in, we would hear some other shit. So if you've got a great, happy relationship, your partner is amazing, and you're hearing this call going, oh my God, does my partner think this about me? Your partner does not think this about you. Because I guarantee you that they have some other fucking shit in their relationship, and it's a load of shit. It's a load of fucking shit.
Hi there. I am 23 and got an interesting situation that I've been brewing on for a couple of months for you guys. My fiance and I have been together since high school, or at least been friends since high school. And I have, as a result, been in his little sister's high school. She was in 3rd grade. We are really close. She doesn't have any sisters, so definitely sees me as the older sister. And last summer, I was with her and her other brother's girlfriend on a trip with their family, and I was just letting them know, like, girl to girl, I'm here for them if you ever need anything, that they can always ask me any questions under the sun, or go get birth control, or whatever it is that they may need. And then that kind of spiraled into talking about, like, I guess, what levels of intimacy we've had with people. Keep in mind, she was like almost 15 at the time we had this conversation. And she straight up asked me if I was having sex with her brother, and I said no, which was a total lie. We grew up in a pretty Christian setting, and it just feels so stupid. Like, she knew that we had done everything up till that, but I just felt like, I don't know, I was poisoning this image that she had of me as a 14-year-old. And now I'm like stressed because one day she's going to ask me, like, oh yeah, like, what was your first time having sex like? And what do I do? Am I like, oh yeah, on our wedding night we did it and it was fine? Or do I like be honest about what actually happened? Or I'm just so stressed about it. And I don't know, you're probably never going to use this call, but if you do, maybe someone out there has a similar situation. I don't want to like be her savior or hide stuff from her, but at the same time, I was really scarred by my older sister when she was pushing me to have sex as an 8th grader. So yeah, trauma, right? But hey, I see a therapist, so we're good. Also, I'm a Capricorn, not sure if that matters, but yeah, thanks for any advice you can give. Have a great day. Bye.
I'm sorry, but this is all on you. Like, you overstepped your bounds to a 14-year-old that you're not, like, yes, you've been in her life this whole time, but she's 14. You're not her sister. You're not related to her. You can't tell a 14-year-old, like, I'll go buy birth control for you, and then be like, oh, but no, I'm not having sex. Like, she's not a fucking idiot, first of all. Second of all, you should have never started this conversation, because this is not a conversation for you to have with her. And third, do you really think that she's going to ask you about having sex with her brother?
That's what I'm saying. First of all, bold as fuck 14-year-old. Are you guys boning? Like, that to me is like a whoa. I agree with you. I think it's a very sweet gesture to offer birth control. I think that's great. I think if you're going to do that, though, you have to be prepared to have like a whole ass awkward conversation. And like, then like you have to be, I think if you want her to be so forthcoming and honest with you, like, you can come to me for anything. I think that's great. But you then have to also be forthcoming and honest with her to a point that is okay for a 14-year-old. And I think if you felt uncomfortable telling a 14-year-old you had sex, then I also kind of think that maybe it was a little too soon to have that conversation with her and like say like, hey, I'm like happy to get you birth control and all of that, because I mean, you should talk to your friend's family, whatever. Like,
it's her boyfriend's family. Like, I think that this was not your lane at all. You shouldn't have been having this conversation.
I think that I think you wanted to recreate what you would wish had happened for you as a kid and like what you wished that conversation had gone like with you, because whatever the fuck, your sister fucking pressuring you to have sex in 8th grade, fucking weird. Like that is super weird. And I think you are trying to recreate that and be the most supportive that you can. And I get that. And I could totally see myself doing that. But again, it would need to be I think that you just came in a little too hot. I think you needed to open the conversation and just have said like, hey, I know you have a boyfriend now. And like, you know, like I know like I like always have considered you like a little sister. And so like if you ever need boy advice, like I'm here, and then be done.
And that's it.
Yeah. But like going explicit and saying if you need me to get you birth control, like that's also a conversation. I don't know what your relationship is like with his parents, and like not that you should tell his parents that their kid is going on birth control, but
she's the one that offered. That's the thing.
That's what I mean. Like is she close? But if she's close with her parents or her mom, like maybe that conversation, like don't rob the mom of that conversation, or the parents have robbed that conversation, or maybe that she is confident and comfortable talking to her parents about it, and then her parents are like, why did you offer to get her birth control? Like that's it's not necessarily your responsibility. But again, I get if it's like a very Christian town, all of that. But I do think that you should have just opened the door instead of kicking down the door and then being like, how do I put the door back together? Because that's when you break down those boundaries. It's the thing with talking. I'm saying this as if like I have a psychology degree. I don't. But the thing that's important when talking to kids and young people, as someone who was a kid and a young person, if you're going to make an open line of communication, and you expect the person younger than you, you expect that kid to be open and honest with you and 100% forthcoming, you also have to give them that same privilege in your life. It can't be like, oh, this isn't a two-way street. You have to be super 100% honest with me, but like I am going to still then try and protect you, which is fair to want to protect younger people than you. But because of that, then you have to go at it in just a different way, like just a different way. And I think
you straight up lied to her.
Yeah.
You lied to her when you're asking her to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be so pissed off if I know this girl doesn't have.
Well, you guys are sisters.
But I would be pissed off if I found out that an adult woman asked my 14-year-old sister, said that she would get her birth control.
Yeah.
Like, and I understand you've been in her life, but if she's not coming to you with the information saying, hey, I'm thinking about having sex, my parents, they're, they're super like religious and they won't get me birth control, that's a different story. But you open the door for all this.
And the issue is you open that door to offer to get her birth control and all of that stuff, which you did because you live in a religious place and all of that. But then in turn, you told her that you're not having sex.
Yeah.
So then that creates this very weird, like, dichotomy, like this double standard of, oh, I'm going to help. Like, if you need anything, I'll talk to you about it. But like, I'm not having sex. Like, we're going to, like, not that you said that you're waiting till marriage, but even your question, like, so do I tell her, like, our wedding night is when we had sex for the first time? So you're not actually achieving what you set out to achieve, which is to kind of like break down the standards of where you live and let her know that, like, hey, it's okay if you have sex before you get married and blah, all of that kind of stuff. But again, there is such a thing as information overload for a young person, especially when talking about sex, because there are the parents and the parents' guardians who never fucking told their kids about sex at all. Nothing. Maybe they were taught abstinence, religious associations, all of that sort of stuff. Save yourself for marriage, or we just never fucking talked about it. And that's a huge majority of, that's a huge group of people. And then there are people who is information overload. I was an information overload kid, like complete too fucking young to hear about explicit things, too fucking young for all of that. But I mean, that's also story of my life. You can read it in my book. You're not empowering and equipping a 14-year-old with the like education, the knowledge, and the deductive reasoning to then make their own decisions and form their own thoughts and opinions. It's just shock. Like it's just like shock value, scary. It's not education driven. It's kind of like big blanket statement, which then just opens all of these other questions that you weren't prepared to answer. And so if I were you, I would then go to her and I would say, hey, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and I'm realizing that I definitely crossed a boundary with you, and I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have offered that. I don't want to take the place of your mom. I don't want to rob your mom of those experiences with you. I'm not going to tell your mom that you and I had that conversation, but I would really, if you feel comfortable once you get older, at any age, go to your mom, talk to her about these kinds of things, and always know if you have other questions, I will always be here as a big sister.
Yeah.
And just fucking there. I wouldn't then turn around and tell her parents. I wouldn't do that.
I feel like the girl might tell her parents. Like,
that's what I mean. I think if the kid will.
Yeah. Like, she might tell her parents, and then, like, where does that leave you?
Yeah. I think there was all the right intention here, but I just don't think, I think you were trying to recreate what you wish you had, but I don't think that you necessarily thought it through as thoroughly. And I think you might have projected a little bit of your younger self onto her versus her. So, build that door back up and like shut it, but like give her a key to the door, Weird mood. Okay, on to the next.
Hi, Megan and Melissa. So I'm 29 and I am a Libra. And then the friend that I'm going to be discussing is also 29 and she's a Cancer. She's been married for about 2 years. We've been best friends for about 15 years. And I recently came out as bi last year. So basically, long story short, she used me to cheat on her husband. Back in January, she was on all these dating apps and her husband knew about it. They were sort of doing an open sort of thing. He didn't want her to meet anybody, but she was talking to people online and flirting and stuff. So me and her went out to a birthday dinner and we were just talking, just me and her. And I had mentioned now that I'm out or whatever, I wanted to like make out with a girl or kiss a girl or whatever. And she said that she had asked her husband if it be okay if me and her did. And he said yes, because he trusted us. So that night we made out. We didn't go past that because like I wasn't sure if he was okay with other stuff, So then a couple weeks later, I basically catch her in like a lie in a very roundabout way. And it turns out her husband didn't know about any of the apps that she was on, didn't know that she was talking and flirting with people, didn't know anything. Also, that she was having an affair, a texting affair, with one of his really good friends who was also married. And a texting affair because he lived across the country. So then I asked her when all these lies came out, like, okay, so, like, are you lying about him knowing about you and me? And she said no, that, like, he knew about that and that she wouldn't lie to me about that. And I believed her because she was my best friend. And I can understand her lying to me about some things, but like lying to me about stuff that's like I'm involved with, I couldn't understand that. So I believed her and I told her, I was like, this is your life. You can do whatever you want, but I do think you should be honest with him. And she, whatever. So the next day she tells me that she decided to come clean and tell him everything. And I was like, that's great. And then a couple of days later, I did a phone call from her husband, and he's asking me questions about things that supposedly she just told me that she had told him. And so it was just like this realization that everything that she had told me, I couldn't believe it at all. So I asked him if he knew about us, me and her, and he said no. And it turns out she was lying about literally everything, including that. And now I don't know what to do because we were best friends for 15 years. And she used me because I was lonely and I just don't know what to do. So help me, please. Thank you.
What a fucked up situation.
This is insane.
Your friend is insane.
She's insane. All the Cancers in the comments are being like, we don't claim her.
Get away from her. First, I would say, like, none of this is your business, but they both brought you into this situation from different angles. Like, she should have never made out with you. I mean, clearly you guys have been, if you've been friends for 15 years, there was probably some attraction there over
you can't
those
make out with your fucking best
15
friend.
15 years. Like,
Yeah.
Once you did that, it crossed the line, and you were both interested in going further than just making out. So once you did that, that crossed the line. But then on top of that, she's been lying to you this whole time about not just like about you guys getting quote unquote permission for you guys to kiss, but also all these other relationships that she's having with these other people online that she lied about. And then the husband calls you. Like, why is he calling you to ask information? That's the whole thing is messed up, and you just need to run. Like, you do not need to be friends with her at all, because all she's going to do is keep lying to you.
This is not new. Like, this is like, it sucks to think that like, 15 years of friendship. No. She's been doing this shit for 15 years. You just didn't know.
You didn't know. She got caught because her husband is in the situation, in the picture now.
And the reason why he called you is because you are also probably involved behind the scenes as much as you don't know, where it's like, call her. She'll tell you the truth.
Yep.
Like, she knows everything. Like, and she's not even like checking with you and be like, hey, can you like make sure you tell him like X, Y, and Z? Like, she's literally putting it on you and making you tell the husband the truth. Like, he didn't just come up with the idea to call you. Like,
yeah. Also, what was her reaction to him calling you, and then you are the one that's outing? Like, what was that conversation with her like?
Like, is she pissed at you? Have you spoken? I am just floored by this. Like, this is the messiest thing I've ever heard. Like,
this is so messy.
Like, and like, does she have a job? Like, what is she like? This is like, what? Like, you're on dating apps, which like, how often do like fucking people are like, oh my God, I got off dating apps. It was too time consuming. No, so she's married. She's on dating apps. Then she also has like a texting relationship with one of his best friends. And then she's also like, you know, making out with you. So like, when does she go to work?
This is her job.
This is her job. Her job is she's professional. She's the CEO of Messy Incorporated. Like, fucking shit. Yeah, you need to not be friends with this girl. You were never friends with this girl. You guys had some sexual tension.
Chemistry there.
Yeah. Which, I mean, up until then, I was like, oh, are you guys going to be in love? And then I was like, no, you're not going to be in love. This bitch is fucking messy.
She's a liar.
She's a pathological
liar. And then brought you into the mess.
And especially if you've been friends for 15 years and you trusted her and you believed her, that means she's a good fucking liar, which means she's been lying your whole friendship, obviously.
And I guarantee she's not just like texting or messaging some of these people. She's fucking some of them as well.
If she made out with you and was like, no, my husband says it's okay, when in reality, like, that makes no sense, because she's essentially telling you, like, no, it's totally fine. My husband knows, like, it's totally fine. And you are in her life and his life. So, like, it would come up. Like, it could totally come up and get caught in a lie. Like, if she wanted to, like, fully cheat and get away with it, and, like, you would cheat with someone who is not a part of your not a part of your circle at all. Like, she's literally being like, yeah, no, he's totally cool with it. And then, like, what, you're going to go to the fucking barbecue and be like, yeah, we made out. And he's going to be like, the fuck? Like, it's like she wants it. She's like puppeteering.
Yeah. And I think like eventually she would have slept with you. Like, she's just like, oh, he said this is okay. And then this is okay. And then this is okay. What a nasty
Can you imagine
bitch.
if they fucking slept together, and then like you like go and you hang out with them and like you have a couple drinks, something comes up and he's like, what? And you're like, what?
Oh
like,
my gosh.
I'm so glad for like your sake that this didn't go further and like you didn't get, I don't know, like emotionally.
But she's gotta be. She's gotta be emotionally. They've been friends for 15 years. I think you have feelings for her, and then this friend just went and messed things up.
Yeah. Hopefully you had feelings for her, and this has made you be like, nah.
I don't think if she's had feelings in the past, then she wouldn't be calling.
Yeah. This girl's can you move? Like, can you just like move? Like,
that's not going to stop anything because she's having this textual
oh
relationship
God.
with somebody across the country.
You need to like, I just need you to like, you are the main character. Like, this is like, you are the main character and you need to start living like the main character and you need to bounce this fucking bitch out of your life. Not friends with her, not friends with anyone who is like endorsing her behavior. Like, you need to like really, really cold cut her out. Like, you need to have no mutual connections with her anymore because like at some fucking point she's going to use you as like an alibi to like hide a body.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, like
Plot twist, the caller ends up the husband. Could you imagine?
Now that is a main character move.
Yeah.
That is a main character move.
Don't do that.
Don't do it.
No. Because then that makes you mayor of Messyville.
Yeah, and you just want to move out of Messyville.
Yeah.
You don't want to be a resident of Messyville anymore. It's not a good time. Holy shit.
What a story. Truly.
What a story. We're going to take a quick break, guys, and we'll be right back. Okay, guys, we are back from our break and we're getting to the rest of the calls as Melissa eats her egg.
Hi, Megan and Melissa. I am a 26-year-old female, and I work as a mental health counselor / peer support specialist. So I am in the mental health spectrum when it comes to the way that I deal with things and process things through my life. I kind of always have been. I'm calling to get some advice about my boyfriend. We've been together for 2 years, and we have lived together for about 1.5 of those years. We moved in fairly quickly, but we were friends for a long time, so it was kind of a no-brainer. We both suffer from some trauma from long-term relationships that we've had in the past, and we've always been really good about communicating with each other and kind of getting through those. Although one thing that I've really started to notice and kind of pick up on is something that he did with his ex, and that's when he was at his lowest point with her, he decided to go and seek help and was diagnosed with depression. Now, he doesn't remember what exactly the coding of the diagnosis was or anything like that, but he has since been on antidepressants for several years now. Through our time together, I've noticed huge personal growth in both of us, but especially in him, which he chalks up to, you know, being because of being in a happy relationship, but I think a lot of it is personal growth. My concern is whether or not these antidepressants that he's on are still helping him. I am having trouble figuring out whether to speak to him about it because I work really hard to not talk to him coming from a clinical place. I don't ever want someone in my life, one of my loved ones, to feel as though I'm talking to them from a clinical standpoint. But I've just noticed that the medication doesn't seem to be something that he needs. He doesn't experience, many mood swings when he's gone off of it. The only thing that he does experience is extreme migraines, which is just your body bouncing back. Now, I don't prescribe medication. I'm not a psychiatrist or anything like that. So my knowledge is fair but limited. I've never been clinically diagnosed as depressed. So I don't know the repercussions of getting off of a medication or finding that you no longer need it and how to supplement that.
She ran out of time, but
good.
Yeah. This isn't I know that you're concerned for him, but you're not a medical doctor. Also, you're too close to the situation to have a fair assessment. But if you have like a legitimate concern that he might be overmedicated, then he should talk to this about it. If you are like really concerned about it, then say, hey, I think you need to get reevaluated. But he's still getting medication, so that means he's still seeing a doctor, right?
Yeah, and he's not over medicated, and that's not her issue. Like, it's, oh, I don't know if you need it anymore because like you're happy and like you're doing
and
good.
That's not how depression works.
No, and that's also why he's on antidepressants. And like the idea, I'm gonna fully say like this is super fucking problematic. And I don't know if you're in therapy, but you as a person should be in therapy, because this is a very, 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 very fucking dangerous mindset to have when it comes to clients as well. If you don't have a relationship with your, like, so like my therapist has, she knows my psychiatrist, like that your therapist should communicate with your psychiatrist if you are on any sort of medication, or just have their contact info if your therapist then becomes concerned that you are misdiagnosed, over-medicated, or anything like that. And so if you are working with patients and you do not have relationships with their psychiatrist, and you know that they are on medication, and you then are curious and wondering, blah, all of this sort of stuff, those questions you should have, you talk to your client's psychiatrist. Like, that needs to be like a mutually exclusive relationship. But if you are a counselor where that is not a part of it, then you need to butt the fuck out of your clients as well. And that's, I think, the thing that like is worrying me in this situation too, is that you're trying not to approach him like a client. This also worries me if this is how you approach your clients, is, oh, you don't seem depressed anymore. Why do you still need this medication? And he's happy. Like, he's happy and he's doing so well. And he chalks us up to like being in a good relationship, but then also being on antidepressants. And your thought is, oh, he doesn't need them anymore. He was only on them for situational depression because he was in this relationship. And as somebody who's been through both situational and clinical depression, that's not your call to make. And also, situational depression can exacerbate clinical depression. And he might not have known that this was something that he felt. And it might have gotten to a point where then this relationship and this situation that he was in brought him to his lowest low, which was what most people need to then get medication. Most people don't go when they're like when they're a functioning depressed person. If they're that's not when you are usually seeking help, is when you're like, okay, I can handle this, or maybe I'm crazy, I'm questioning this, I don't know. And then it gets to a point of rock bottom when you're like, oh, this isn't normal. And now I'm going to go get help. And he's going to go get help, and he's seeing a psychiatrist, and you've never been diagnosed with clinical depression, so you don't know. And this also, you didn't fix him. You didn't fix him. He's in a happy relationship. He was in a shitty relationship, and he's also on antidepressants. None of those things are related. He's not on antidepressants because of last relationship. Maybe he was given the opportunity and he had the strength in him and was in a bad situation that he needed to take care of himself, and he chose that at that time. But it is not his ex-girlfriend's fault that he's on antidepressants, and it is not your responsibility nor you that he is now happy and does not need the antidepressants anymore.
Also, why is he going off his medication? Because you said there are periods of times where he's not.
So the only thing in my mind that makes sense of that is if he's going off of his medication for small periods of time, and the only side effect he's experiencing are migraines after going off of his antidepressants, and it's not like he's not going off it for a long period of time. It's in like a, oh shit, we're on a 4-day vacation and I need to get a refill. I'm a couple days in between. I've like forgotten to get it, or my psychiatrist is out of town. And it's that if he's going off of antidepressants for months at a time, his psychiatrist knows that. Like, that's a communication that you would then hear from there. And more than anything, he's going off antidepressants is not like an easy feat at all. And if you're seeing the only side effect he's experiencing are migraines, most likely he's not going off them for a long period of time.
Yeah.
And why does he need to go off them?
Yeah, that's why. Are you enabling him to go off of them? Or is it just like they're going on trips and she's noticing something?
Yeah, I don't know. And I also you're not talking about his experience with, oh, he's feeling like these side effects. He doesn't are outweighing, like the cons are outweighing the pros at this point, and like he doesn't feel like, but the way you're talking about it is he's had a very positive experience with his relationship with antidepressants, and you are like, okay, so then like don't use them. But like, what's the fucking issue with him being on antidepressants for the rest of his life? What's the issue? What's the fucking issue? And that's like, also antidepressants aren't like, it's not like your body, to majority of medications will develop a dependency on them, but it's not a high.
Yeah.
Like he's not, this isn't something that it's like an unsustainable, oh, he has like a problem with his a dependency that is alarming in like detrimental to his everyday life. That's not what it's sounding like. And also like people are on antidepressants for the rest of their life. And like, that's what the reason is they're balancing the chemicals in their brain, and it helps them do that. And so it's great. Like, that's awesome. Like they're at the level that maybe he's now at the level of serotonin that you have. And like, it's not a quick fix. And it's also,
you shouldn't be getting in the way. Like, I feel like if she has a legitimate concern,
she doesn't,
which she doesn't. But if let's say somebody, a listener, they had like a legitimate concern, it's not your place to say that they need to go off medication, but you could recommend that they get a second opinion.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. Like, you can't like say he needs to go off the medicine. They should just get a second evaluation and leave it at that.
This is so above your realm of knowledge in your profession and also personally, because you don't have personal experience with this, and encouraging anyone or questioning if anyone needs medication is erasure for mental health. Like it is. And it's bullshit. Like, I know there are some therapists who are very like anti and like, we just do therapy. We don't want you to be on medication, blah, blah, blah. And like our couples therapist is like, hell yeah, medication. Fuck yeah, medication. Like, it's a great combination. Like, I can't fix chemicals in your brain. Like, I can help you talk to your brain, but I can't fix those fucking chemicals in your brain. I can't. And like, there are some cases, and like sometimes people can like live with less serotonin, but other people can't. And my job and my responsibility, I want you to live and be the happiest version of yourself, and whatever that you ever fucking need to do that. And yeah, this is just, it's problematic. Like, it's truly just like a problematic stance to have, especially from someone who works in the mental health field. And I will apologize for being harsh, but also as someone I'm a peer of you, I'm 26 too. You need to do a lot more you need to do a lot more research in this if you want to then make calls like this. Like, become a psychiatrist, that like get a degree so then you can do that with your clients if that's what you want to do.
Right. Especially since this is the field that you work in, I would think that you would have asked other people in the same field what their thoughts are on this. And they probably told you what you did not want to hear until you called people that this is not our profession at all.
No, but oh God, I would feel so hurt if like Maud said that to me about something, like, oh, I don't think you need medication. I would just be like,
you don't understand.
No. And also, like, how can you see me being so happy? And then I know that she kept saying like, he's done a lot of personal growth. No, you're taking credit.
And I have too. Yeah.
Like, you're taking some credit if you're looking at him and knowing that he opened up to you about being on antidepressants, like the circumstance in which he decided to go get help, and then you deciding that you don't think he needs that.
I made him better, so he doesn't need it.
Because it's impossible. Goodbye. Hopefully she can. Maybe she'll take the tough love sort of stance. But also, when
We've never had anybody call just being pissed, like with an update or anything. So
no, it's true. Even the ones that we're shocked by.
Yeah.
Okay. On to the next.
Hi, Megan and Melissa. I'm 21. I'm an Aries. My boyfriend is 23. I'm calling for advice. We've been dating for about 8 months, and there's no other way to say this, but his cum tastes really bad. I feel really guilty saying that because I want to go down on him, but every time I know he's about to come, I start gagging, I want to puke, and I dread it. And I've never experienced that before. I know that food can contribute, but in comparison to my exes, I know that my current boyfriend has a much healthier lifestyle. So I can't really think of what else it could be, and I really don't know how to bring this up to him. I haven't been able to talk to my friends for advice because I don't want him to feel embarrassed, and I honestly just don't want them to know that information. I feel like it's private and I would be embarrassed. So I would really appreciate some advice. I even considered buying those magical berries that make everything taste sweeter. But I really just want to be able to fix it rather than hide that I'm feeling this way. So I don't really know what to do. If you have advice, I would really appreciate it. I love the podcast. I've been listening for a very long time. So love you guys. Thank you so much. Bye.
I also want to say I love the fact that she has decided not to talk to her friends and call us, because there are some times where it's like, yes, this is a perfect example of I don't want my friends to know this about my relationship because I wouldn't want them to know it in turn about me. Fucking great. Hats off to you. I love that. There are some great boundaries here. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, just because he's eating healthy food does not mean that his sperm's going to taste better, because he could be sitting up eating asparagus all day and that's going to make it taste terrible.
Yeah. I mean, so they say that fruit, they specifically say pineapple.
I've got a whole thing of fruit right here that I didn't even realize would be
your prop.
My prop, but I've got pineapples in here. I've got mangoes.
Nice.
They were frozen, so that's why they look like this.
Juicy.
But yeah, this would be the perfect cocktail to give him.
I think you need to test it, and again, figure out what it is, because it does make it more complicated because he eats healthier, but we got to figure out what it is that he's eating. And because it is true. Okay, let's say it's asparagus, it's broccoli, he's all about a fucking celery, maybe celery is pretty fresh, but if he's having kale chips and
right.
Or he's really into fermented foods,
right.
It could be a little rank. But I would just have make a fucking fruit salad, sit down with him, eat the fruit salad, and then go for it.
You could
and
make
see
the fruit
if it changes.
salad sexy too.
Yeah, put the fruit salad on your body.
Mm-hmm.
And then see if it changes. Don't put the pineapple anywhere near your body because that eats flesh. Protein. It eats protein. That's what pineapple does. It's so acidic. But did you actually know? Got on my tangent. Do you know if you put enough pineapple in a steak, it will dissolve the steak?
What?
Isn't that crazy? Because there's it's a protein eating enzyme. As someone who's allergic to pineapple, I know a lot of pineapple facts.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes you're the tingly and all of that. But so yeah, I think you need to test that first, because I think then you need to exhaust all options before you have a conversation with him, because I agree, it is going to hurt. It is not going to feel good for him. It's going to be it's up there. I would say it probably aside from cisgender men, the stereotypes of what hurts is you have a small penis, you're bad in bed, your cum tastes bad. There are or you're yeah, those are kind of the big blows when it comes to intimacy for cisgendered men.
Blows.
So what?
Big blows.
Big blows. So I would figure that out first, if it is his weird healthy diet, and if it can change with fruit.
Doing a lot of protein too. If he's that makes
if he's
it
dehydrated,
awful. Yeah.
if he's not drinking a lot of water,
Mhm.
and then
It could also be medications that he's on as well.
oh, true. Any vitamins too. I think there's some vitamins that can fuck with that. So then if all of that like does fruit salad, everything comes back like normal, all of that stuff, just like don't have him come in your mouth.
Yeah.
Just like when he gets close, and you can even, and again, say if you want to save his ego, then I would just say something along the lines of that your like gag reflex has been bad recently, or like it's a lot, or like you
come on my tits.
Yes, you can make it hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I like it. Like I really like it when like you come on my tits, like that, or like anything like that. I think you can skew it to be a sexy sort of thing. And if he's giving you warning, because you said that like when you know it's gonna happen, you like just like start preemptively gagging. So so you can always just like, move off, throw a hand on there, and like I think I would avoid telling him as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're watching and it's like no matter what he does, he can't change it, then it's like, what the fuck is he supposed to do with that information?
Right.
Like, ooh. And it also, maybe you guys just have like different chemistry, like,
I mean,
like,
one person's stank jizz might be another person's ambrosia.
Sweet. Ooh, yes. Everyone just do whatever. Everyone needs to start doing what they're comfortable with, and not assuming that other people are also doing stuff that they're uncomfortable with.
It's true. Very true.
So, best of luck. Let us know how it goes. I would love an update with his diet, and if like the excessive fruit. I
thought you were going to say with his dick.
No. With the excessive fruit and well hydrated. I would love to know if it affects it or changes it.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what else is like medication, vitamins. I'm trying to think of anything else.
I would think hot tubs probably.
Oh yeah. Ooh, so like warm.
Because I mean, you can like make yourself sterile. So like.
Oh yeah, you can like cook them.
Yeah, so it's coming out, I think, like rancid.
Yeah, like spoiled.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, it's also coming out like scrambled eggs. Like
that's
it's
what I was thinking too. But like, and then like a cartoon where it has like those squiggly lines when something smells.
Wow. Okay, so is it time for
Don't blame them.
Don't blame them.
Mm-hmm.
So this is when one of you guys calls in with your own advice pertaining to a different episode, a different call. You got your own input. What's it from?
This is from season 6, episode 3. It's a very recent episode. About the original caller was frustrated because her boyfriend played video games all day and only spent 17 hours a week with her.
Hey, this is some advice for the caller in y'all's last episode who's talking about how often her significant other has been playing video games. So my fiance, soon-to-be husband, is a gamer. Socially, that's what he does. He hangs out with his buddies over video games. And it's definitely been a difficult thing to talk about and try to understand as somebody who doesn't play video games. After 4 or 5 years together now, it's something we've had conversations with and dealt with, and he's made progress with, but it's only happened because I have voiced why it makes me upset. And so, especially during the pandemic and the strict quarantine, not laws, but rules, he was playing a lot more, and I felt like I wasn't getting enough attention, and voicing that to him of, hey, I need more time with you. He was able to understand and listen to my needs just as much as me understanding and listening to his needs. So as somebody who he was also very stressed out, still is a little overwhelmed, just playing is just time to relax, and not being able to see his friends face to face right now is a form of social gathering for them. And that's something I had to understand. Does he play 25 hours a week on a regular basis when he can go to work? Absolutely not. So I think, to be honest, my advice is talk to him, be a little bit more flexible during the pandemic. Everybody's needs and stress levels are at a different rate. And also, if you want more time with him, tell him you want more time with him. And if he doesn't listen to that, dump his ass.
And that's the end of her call.
I agree with everything. I think it's funny that even in a pandemic, people are still calling from their cars. Like, where are you going? Like,
True.
everyone is still calling from their car. I'm like, where the fuck are you going? Well, guys, that is it for our episode. If you want to call in for an upcoming one, you can leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. And international listeners, you can send us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. What else? Follow us on Instagram.
YouTube change.
Oh, yes. YouTube change. We are starting a new channel for the podcast episodes. Wow, I'm so glad you reminded me. This is going to be on my list of the things.
I reminded it because we've been getting millions of emails from people subscribing. So I had to go in and turn the notifications off.
Maybe. So we're now going to be uploading this on a Don't Blame Me podcast YouTube channel account. So it's not going to be on my channel. It's going to be on Don't Blame Me YouTube channel. So yeah, it's just fucking easier that way. And truly the thing that is the most important in this for me is that when I have I was telling Liz this, when I have the podcast account videos going up every Monday, in my mind, I'm uploading YouTube videos. I am not uploading YouTube videos. I'm uploading podcasts. And I need to actually upload YouTube videos, and I need to the swift kick in my ass will be the fact that there are not other videos going up on my channel to look like I'm uploading. So that's what we're doing. This is going to be self-care and motivation for me. So please do me a solid and subscribe there, because that's the only place that we're going to be having the video version of the podcast from now on. And yeah. Oh, follow us on Instagram. Follow our individual Instagrams. And order my book, You're Not Special. Check it out. And yeah, we will see you guys next time. Goodbye.
I almost blew a kiss, but I was like, why would I do that? That's not me.
Thank you for
being weird, that's me.
Not.
Yeah.
I can't even. How do you do it seriously? Wow, I hate us. Okay. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Don't Blame Me is a production by me, executive produced by Melissa DeMonts, edited by Katrina Henning, and music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to speak of them or talk about them or in any way portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. It would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Hi, this is Rob Benedict.
And I am Richard Spate. We were both on a little show you might know called Supernatural.
It had a pretty good run, 15 seasons, 327 episodes.
And though we have seen, of course, every episode many times, we figured, hey, now that we're wrapped, let's watch it all again.
And we can't do that alone, so we're inviting the cast and crew that made the show along for the ride. We've got writers, producers, composers, directors, and we'll of course have some actors on as well, including some certain guys that played some certain pretty iconic brothers.
was kind of a little bit of a left field choice in the best way possible.
The note from Kripke was, he's great, we love him, but we're looking for like a really intelligent Duchovny type.
With 15 seasons to explore, it's going to be the road trip of several lifetimes. So please join us and subscribe to Supernatural Then and Now.
Do you love Disney? Do you love top 10 lists? Then you are going to love our hit podcast, Disney Countdown. I'm Megan, the Magical Millennial.
And I'm the Dapper Danielle.
On every episode of our fun and family-friendly show, we count down our top 10 lists of all things Disney. The parks, the movies, the music, the food, the lore. There is nothing we don't cover on our show.
We are famous for rabbit holes, Disney-themed games, and fun facts you didn't know you needed.
I had Danielle and Megan record some answers to seemingly meaningless questions. I asked Danielle, what insect song is typically higher pitched in hotter temperatures and lower pitched in cooler temperatures?
You got this.
No, I didn't.
Don't believe that. About a wish coming true? Well, I didn't either. Of course, I'm just a
cicada. I'm crying. I'm so sorry, Jiminy.
You win that one.
So if you're looking for a healthy dose of Disney magic, check out Disney Countdown wherever you get your podcasts.